I think it's especially important right now for women to talk about our lives, because there are forces at work in our society that want to turn back the clock on women. When we wrote the book of Gutsy Women back in 2019, of course, we were looking for certain attributes like resilience and persistence and determination and courage. But we were also looking for women who not only had all of those attributes for themselves, but were trying to change something, trying to open doors, for others to follow.
And doing that in just a really wide array of areas. So whether it's criminal justice reform or comedy, trying to save, planet Earth, or kind of show the different ways in which we love as human beings, that it was really important to us that we not have kind of one definition or one kind of manifestation of gutsy, but we really have a spectrum of amazing gutsiness. And I'm so thankful we got to do that with this series.
We're hitting the road to shine a light on women who inspire us to be bolder and braver.
Leadership doesn't look one way. It's a giant rainbow.
You're not gonna break me down. You'll get worn out before I do.
Women who push us outside our comfort zone.
You got this.
And make us laugh.
I'm in deep Georgia, and they might have never met a Muslim.
Or they don't know they have.
Or they don't know they have, because we walk among you.
We had so many people that intrigued Chelsea and me, and obviously you can't put them all into a 40-minute episode, but we wanted to have themes that were overarching themes that people could relate to. So when we say, Gutsy Women Refuse Hate, we're saying, here's how they do it. How can we do it? Or how can you do it? And we wanted the audience to feel really connected to those themes.
It was really important to us to include a real diversity of women, including across generations. It was important that we were doing this together as an intergenerational conversation, because we do think so many of these conversations at least should be multi-generational, from moms to daughters to grandmothers to granddaughters, and of course also with the men in our lives. And so that was similarly important to us as we were thinking about not only the themes, but also the people we hoped would be part of these conversations within each theme, within each episode.
Being in front of the camera in this series was a kind of leap of faith for me. It was outside my comfort zone. But also doing it with Chelsea was a great way to kind of come together around stuff we have talked about since she was a little girl. Mostly it was as authentic and open and freewheeling a conversation as we could make it with 3 or 4 cameras pointed at us, because Chelsea and I were here to really showcase them. That's what we wanted to have come across.
Yeah. It was a really free-flowing conversation. And of course, there were some guests where, my mom would get into more of a deep conversation. And I just found myself listening and learning so much. And I think vice versa, there were some moments where I got into kind of a deeper conversation and I could see my mom being that's really interesting. And so I think that too, though, led to the kind of organicness, because we weren't trying in every conversation to, all have exactly the same words said. That's not what it was about. It was about how do we help the people we're interviewing be able to showcase to the world not just why we think they're gutsy, but why everyone should think they're gutsy.
To throw someone's life away when people really do make changes, I just believe in second chances.
My mother needed rehabilitation, not prison.
Your survival is your power.
Someone say to me, you're not good enough because you have melanin. How dare you?
I have a master's in whites. I just want whites to get a GED in blacks.
Part of the reason why we were so attracted to talking to women who have chosen comedy as their profession. That is such a gutsy choice to start with, and especially doing stand-up comedy where literally people are yelling things at you and booing you, as Wanda Sykes was telling us about one of her experiences. Well, I've been on platforms where people booed me, where people yelled at me. I mean, I know how hard it is to kind of live your your life, pursue your professional dreams out in public. And I thought our conversations with Wanda, with Amy Schumer, the wonderful group at the comedy club, going to the clown school, which honestly, when Apple TV Plus said we want to go to the clown school in Paris, I thought, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, what am I going to do at a clown school? And I was very resistant. They were very persistent, and so we ended up at clown school.
And it was fascinating.
It was fascinating. It was liberating. It was a learning experience.
It was exhilarating.
And so dealing with the role that women comedians fill at a time when there's such a pushback against women, being in public, pursuing our interests, claiming our rights was a very important experience, I think, for both of us.
I completely agree. I have long admired Kim's just dogged commitment to criminal justice reform and to trying to both change unjust sentencing laws and kind of the injustice that has been so hard-coded into our criminal justice system, and also her efforts on kind of the basis of trying to help individual prisoners who have been unfairly and unjustly sentenced. I just was really impressed by how not only important this is to her, but how important this is to her definition of who she is and how much this has and will continue to be a journey for her as she continues to try to figure out how to make the difference she wants to make.
You ask about Megan, and when you see her, I mean, she's surrounded by bright lights and cameras.
She's a superstar. She looks like a superstar.
She looks like a superstar.
She looks like the superstar she is.
Yeah, exactly. And what she wanted to do was just sit there and talk to us while we were each painting. And we talked about her dream of, taking, care of people better with their health as they age. And, I don't think most people would have ever even imagined that about her before we had our conversation.
Speak truth to power. When I throw rocks, I'm throwing them up.
We're gonna go buy the house where we got married.
This is where it all started.
And the rest is history.
Cheers.
There were no moments, at least none that I could remember, where one of us was like, oh God, don't say that. Or like, shh, or like, let's go in a radically different direction. Like, I don't think that ever happened.
It was a little bit, it was, I guess, a good reality-based experience for me. To have them say, well, we want to go rappelling down a waterfall, but Hillary, you don't need to do that. We'll let Chelsea do that. And so I got to the point where whatever they wanted to do, I'd say, oh, great, Chelsea will do that.
Well, when I was driving, she was like, is that the stick shift? And I was like, no, that's the microphone. You just haven't been in the front seat of a car in a really long time. And seriously, I can't believe you just said that on camera. And I'm embarrassed for you, but it's fine.